firm, Greenspan Martyr. It's really excited to host tonight's Leadership Academy event. Thank you guys for having us host. And yeah, very excited for this talk and very excited to continue to get to know everyone. So here's to a great discussion.
This is for you and the firm.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Of course. So I'm going to introduce our speaker, Rochelle Gapere. I can probably do this without looking at it. Rochelle Gapere is an attorney, happiness coach, and entrepreneur. The release of her Amazon bestselling book, One Happy Thought at a Time, 30 Days to a Happier You, has empowered readers with science-based tools and techniques that help them lead happier, more fulfilling lives. And you'll each receive a copy of the book at the end of the presentation. Rochelle describes herself as an attorney by trade and happiness coach by heart. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology from Tennessee State University, graduating summa cum laude. She graduated with a Juris Doctorate from UM in 2005. And 2008, she earned a positive psychology specialization certification through the University of Pennsylvania. She is the 2019 recipient of the Florida Bar Wild D. Michael Reese Quality of Life Award. She was recently recognized as one of the top 100 female empowering speakers in the world by Engage. And last but certainly not least, she's one of my best friends. So without further ado, I give you our speaker.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. And I feel a little bit emotional, just thinking about the journey. So I've been practicing law for 20 years. Since 2000. Thank you. Thank you. That was 20 years. And I don't remember a time in my life where I didn't want to be an attorney until I went to law school and I realized I didn't want to be an attorney. So if you had asked me at 3 years old, 5 years old, I'd always say, I want to be an attorney when I grow up. I was so focused on getting that goal accomplished. I graduated undergrad in 3.5 years. I ended up working at my aunt's law firm. She was a partner at a big law firm called Rochelle at the time. And I just remember I would show up and extra happy, I'd be colorfully dressed, and everybody there just looked so sad, right? So the breaking point for me, I became friends with a young associate, and she was supposed to go to Italy, and so I told her bye, thinking she was leaving that Friday. And when I went back to work on Monday, she was at her desk. So I asked her, so I kind of get it, why are you here? She said, oh, partner so-and-so dropped all these files on her desk and said that she needed to do this motion by a certain deadline. And she said, well, I have a trip plan. And he said, well, you could choose this trip or you could choose a job. So that was my first insight into the world of law, like seeing people. Got to UM, I'm an overachiever, I'll admit. I sat in my first couple of classes and I was just thinking, I don't think this is for me. Like, I just didn't think it was my thing. I was 21 years old and I'm like, this is just not for me. I'm Jamaican. I have Jamaican heritage. My dad is Ugandan, my mom is Jamaican, and excellence is the way of life, right? So there's no way I could tell them I was going to drop out of law school. Lord, so I trotted through the first year. I got away with life on my terms. I went, lived in Spain, did study abroad. I called my mom and I told her, I'm not coming back to America. I'm going to stay in Italy and work for like Vogue. I'm the only child. She said, girl, please stop the madness. You are coming back, right? So needless to say, I came back, but I'd always had this gnawing sensation that it wasn't the thing I was supposed to be doing. But I had nothing else to do, so I had to do it, right? Long story short, fast forward, I opened a company called Social Esquire. It's an event marketing company with 3 other attorneys. We had all the hottest parties in Miami, still practicing law at the time, doing family law. I always had a side hustle. It was a thing that just kept me going, right? Okay, well, I may not like law, but I could still do something else. 2 of my partners, they ended up getting married, having children. It shifted the dynamic of the company. I decided to move ahead. So, kind of was doing it on my own, but not really, because it kind of fizzled out. I was dating somebody, and then I started hitching my cart to his wagon and helping him build his dream. All I'm saying along the way is just distraction, distraction, distraction. Not ever getting still enough to figure out what it is that I truly wanted to do. So this is where all hell breaks loose. And I think I'm going to marry the guy. I think that's just the natural next step. I've had everything in my life planned out and I've always had my plans. 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 20. I mean, I had every single plan. I am Little Miss Planner and it's going to work until it didn't. I marched myself down to my boss's office at the time, and she's no longer my boss, she's retired. And I said, I need 5 weeks unpaid leave. And she looked at me like, what's going on? I said, my whole life is falling apart. She was like, what? I said, yeah, I have no plan. Like, I have no plan. The girl who is always the planner, Little Miss Excellent, has it all together. I have no plan. Or the plans that I thought I had, they're falling apart. She said, okay, I'm going to go and talk to Dan, and we're going to see how we could help you navigate this. I don't know where you are in your law career right now, but what I will tell you is that vulnerability is bravery. The minute you speak up about your mental well-being, about how sad or unhappy, or when you have the courage to do that, literally the world will shift and rise to meet. My boss, Kelly, she advocated for me so hard, I ended up going off 6 weeks, 3 days of paid leave. I went to Oxford University, where one of my best friends was a Rhodes Scholar, hopped around all of Europe to my heart's desire. Stephanie was the one who planted that seed because she had a sabbatical. I said, well, what would life be if I were to just get a break, to step away from what I should do and really sink into the feeling of what I am called to do, what makes me feel good, not what the world expects of me, but what I know I'm truly wanting, how I want to feel in my life. When there, started studying the science of happiness as an undergrad major of psychology. And at that time, there was no school of positive psychology. And I was fascinated. You mean to tell me we could study how human flourishing, and it's rooted in science? Oh, wow. So that was it. Bingo. It was the thing I'd been looking for. I started writing, and I'm the only child. Of course, my mom would write a book. I'm the only child. She would support, right? The book took on a life of its own. I published it. It became an Amazon bestseller. And then people started asking me to come on podcasts to talk about being a happy attorney. How can attorneys be happy? That's an oxymoron. It doesn't even make sense. It's just like, we're supposed to suffer and be depressed. Like, what are you talking about, girl? You're going to teach us scientific ways that we could increase our happiness as a practice. Yes, I am. Serendipity had its way. And as I said, once you have the courage to just be honest with yourself, life starts moving. Somebody saw me in a setting similar to this, and she went back to her job in Jamaica and told them about it. At that time, I hadn't been a speaker, right? It was just my event. A couple of my friends and I had this event called Women Winning Now. She called me 3 weeks before the event and said, by the way, you're going to be opening for Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey, my first speech, y'all. Yes, I opened for Steve Harvey. They put that video on YouTube. A speaking agency saw it, one based in Europe. They had an office in New York at the time, and recruited me to be one of the speakers on their roster because they had a vertical that was wide open for happiness. That's how much the world needed it. And it was like the perfect storm because then the pandemic came. And so more than ever before, people were like, okay, we now have time to sit and think, and we're going to now focus on our well-being. So let's talk a little bit about the science, right? 90,000. We spend 90,000 hours of our life working. 90,000. That's a third of your life. The other activity you do more than working is sleep. Sure. Okay, good. So I figured if I'm going to spend 90,000 hours of my life working, it may as well feel good. What am I proving if I'm going to be excellent at being miserable? An article that really resonated with me as I was in this whole life change and shake up was the top 5 regrets of the dying. The number 1 regret of the dying was, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the one that others expected of me. That's the number 1 regret. Wishing they had the courage to live a life true to themselves, not the life that your mom wants for you, your peers, the senior partner at the firm, your wife or husband, not even your children, the life that you want for yourself. The second one was, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Many people got to the end of their lives, and that was one of their second regret. They were just working hard for working hard's sake. But why? Why are you working hard? What is the purpose behind all the commitment and sacrifice you're making? The fifth one was, I wish I'd allowed myself to be happier. Many didn't realize that happiness is a choice. Happiness is a choice, people. And I want you to say it. My happiness is my responsibility. My happiness is my responsibility. And if there's one thing I would want you to take from this presentation today is agency. Like at any moment, you can change your life, any moment. And you're not a tree. Like literally, you could decide, oh, this is not working for me, and I'm going to do something else. But you have to have courage and you have to be honest with yourself, right? So let's talk about the state of lawyers' mental health. I don't know if these numbers are shocking to you. Have you seen this? 28% of attorneys struggle with depression. 21% of attorneys reported having drinking problems. 85% of attorneys have admitted to having moderate to high levels of stress. And these may surprise you. Lawyers are 3.6 times more likely to suffer from depression than any other profession, right? Lawyers also have one of the highest rates of suicide, with a significant percentage of attorneys reporting severe stress and burnout. And in Florida specifically, lawyer burnout and mental health challenges have been on the rise, making this topic especially relevant. So I'm going to ask you, does any of this resonate with you? Do you feel stressed? Do you feel burnt out? And let's talk about the stressors and throw some out at, and I'll ask if it resonates. High stakes decision making, okay? The adversarial nature of the profession. You're fighting every day, right? Dealing with clients' emotional burdens. I know when I was in family court, Lord, I felt like I was a psychiatrist. It was just not only the practice of law, but I literally had to be maintaining and hearing people's stories and trauma every day, right? And it weighed heavily on me. Actually, that's why I did leave the practice of family law, because it was just too much. And then billing pressures and the pursuit of perfection. Many people believe that we have the answers because they're like, you're smart. Of course you have all the answers. I can't tell you, just this week, it's Thursday. I have gotten so many questions about the current state of America. You would think I wrote the Constitution. I do not know, right? I know as much as anybody else. So people hold us to a higher regard in terms of knowledge sometimes. And so I'm going to ask you to reflect on this and write it. What are the top stressors in your current practice? I want you to write that down because you can't fix what you don't confront. When you have it on paper, becomes clear where the problem lies and what are the things that you could start doing to help yourself out of this slump. So the question is, what are the top stressors in your current practice? And then I want to hear some, because I'm not going to be preaching to y'all all night. We're having a discussion. We're going to change lives. We're going to get honest with each other. Current stressors in your practice. Anybody want to share?
I can start.
Yeah. And tell me your name or what you practice or whatever you want to tell me about yourself.
Brennan.
Okay.
And family and estate planning.
Okay.
I'll go with family. and say that the stressors not only affect us individually, but being on the receiving end of opposing counsel,
Mhm.
having issues. Maybe they're going through their own divorce and the way they communicate is just inappropriate and causes more stress than is necessary. Clients are also a source of stress, not managing the things they have to do, maybe throwing everything on you on a Friday and expecting things will be done by the deadline when they've missed it. Like they've just produced information or evidence you needed to be on time. Now you're delayed. You need a continuance. They're like, what? No, this can't go on for 6 months. I think things like that, time management.
Got it.
And not being able to control the other side.
Fair. Anybody else?
I can go next.
Okay. Yes. All right. Let's hear you.
I'm Emma. I'm a chef in Miami, and I've been a lawyer for about 2 years. I think maybe my issue comes with the fact that I'm still pretty new. But one of my stressors is the fear of the quality of my work product. But I'm always worried that this is not good enough for that. You know, they're gonna be like, this is not good. And I've never had it. Like my firm is really good about it, so it's not fear because it's happened in the past. Maybe it should happen so that I can just like get it out of my system. But it's always like I said something and I'm like, I hope this is not a crap.
Okay. All
That's
right.
one thing
We're gonna touch on
always
that.
in the back of my mind.
Perfect. Anybody? Okay. I want to hear from a man.
My clients
Yeah.
are number one stressors because they have really high and unrealistic expectations.
Okay.
And I practice, I'm Nigerian by the way.
Okay.
I practice immigration and family.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I like sometimes I feel like I'm gonna explode, but
Yeah.
understanding, clients, they expect so much and what they expect from you is not realistic.
Yeah. Client expectations.
Yes, immigration, right now the anxiety is through the roof.
Yeah.
And you have to play the role of a psychiatrist or a psychologist
Yeah.
most of the time. And I have a lot of people crying in my office. So that's a big part. And the second one is what you said is opposing counsel. They are terrible.
Yeah.
Sometimes they make the case even more difficult. They can't adopt their client's stance, even if it's unrealistic, and they put the burden on.
All right. One more. A man, please. Okay. What's your name?
Scott Burrell. I
Okay.
have my own firm doing PI and family law
Okay.
for about 13 years now, so I have plenty of stress. I guess my biggest stress is obviously client satisfaction. Because, you know, you're on your own, you're always either gonna fire me, gonna keep me, and they're always upset every day.
Yeah.
You make everyone happy,
Sure.
no matter what, and you try all day to make them happy, and in the end, you finish the case and you're like, not even a thank you, but you get used to it after that.
Thank you, sir.
The other big one, of course, I think is actually not just for the councils, the judges. Because they all have different rules and you can't find them anywhere. It's like, here, you go to this courtroom, here, this policy. And some of you guys didn't practice when we had to go in person, where you had to go from one floor to another floor to a different courthouse to go here, and they're like, you were late. I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? There's no elevator in the courthouse, that sucks. But going right locally.
Yeah.
And the other big one, I think too, is like everyone said, family. But also, I think the biggest one is we are all, having said adversarial against each other on cases, but even against each other in the profession. Like, you know, you see someone settles this case or does this many hours, like, well, I can do more than that.
Yes.
And then you want to keep up. So it's the keeping up at what cost, which is your life. And I think, you know, keeping that in mind and, you know, understanding that family is the biggest stress, but they're your biggest happiness. Because if you have either a significant other, kids, or something else, you find something else because you sit here all day working. Like I know some people around here told me they work way more hours than I do sometimes.
Mhm.
But I think you have to find an outlet because if not, we'll all go crazy.
Good. Thank you for all that feedback because I see mostly like nodding your heads because it resonates with us, right? And so I guess my purpose is one, to have these conversations because you're not suffering alone. You know, sometimes you feel isolated, like I'm the only one going through this, or it's only hard for me. And so I think as we start being more vulnerable and having these conversations, even to his point, oh, knowing the rules for different judges. Those are things that we could tell and share with each other. But if you're not even verbalizing the fact that that's an issue for you, how do you know that it could be solved, right? So the first step is just airing everything out, being very open about what you're going through. And I'll tell you, you can shift the room. We have to have more courage, more bravery to speak up, because you'll be surprised. Like once I came back from my sabbatical, it was almost like the floodgates were open in my office. Instead of people resigning, people are like, oh, well, maybe if I take 6 weeks, I could reset and I'll come back rejuvenated and more focused, right? And so it really had a ripple effect, and it was very positive. And it was hard for me to walk down to her office, but I was at my breaking point when I decided to do so. So as we go through the presentation, I'm going to touch on a couple of things, like for instance, what Emma said about the imposter syndrome and ways to counteract some of these concerns that we have. So scientifically, happiness is 50% genetic. It's genetic, your DNA, right? So some people are just more naturally predisposed to optimism than others are. I am one of those people, but I also understand how important the other side of the chart is. 10% of your happiness is based on your life circumstances. For instance, let's talk about the pandemic. All of us found ourselves similarly. That was one time where we all could say we're all going through something, even though we all dealt with it in different ways, we were having a similar experience, right? So life circumstances, it could be your job, it could be, let's say, the pandemic. And 40% of your happiness is based on your daily intentional activity. Daily intentional activity, meaning your habits. So if you knew that you could win your case by a 40% margin, you'd say, absolutely, tell me more, right? So your zone of genius is in that 40%. And I'm going to go into some of the statistics about why happiness really matters and how it impacts companies' bottom lines. I've actually now gone all over the world to speak to different industries about why it's important for employee well-being to be at the forefront of conversations. I'm going to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, and I want you to sit with this, how happy are you right now? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being maximum happiness, 1 being the lowest. How happy are you in your life? Not just your career, but your career, your marriage, your family life, the money that you're making, your health, because those are the big ticket items for most of us, for all of us. It's your health, your relationships, your work. So what's your score? Think about it on a scale of 1 to 10. What's your number?
7.
Okay. Anybody else?
Still my number.
7? That's good. What's your name?
Jordan,
Okay.
I would say mine's probably been 9.
All right. Perfect. That's good. Good. That's good. Anybody else? Listen. Okay. Okay.
First, like I said,
So let me be clear about this number. There's no shame in your game, because the whole purpose, happiness is fluid, people. It's not a static number. And so as a happiness coach, my job is not to say, oh, well, you're just going to be happy for every single day and every moment of your life, but it's to build the emotional resiliency and the skills so that you could create your own happiness toolkit, so that whenever your numbers dip, you can go into your toolkit and say, these are some of the things I need right now, right? So there are times when I literally am bouncing off the walls, and I ask myself this question many days when I wake up. How happy are you today? 5, it means I have to go in the toolkit. On a 9-day, I'm just bouncing off the walls. I don't really have to do the work, right? So I don't want you to feel like, oh, if your number is a 3 or if it's a 4 right now, that it's fine. It just means that you have work to do, and the work can be done, right? So let's talk a little bit about the research. So the research shows that happier people make more money, they're more creative, they live 9 years longer on average, they have stronger immune systems. So the case for happiness is there. But as it pertains to work, employees who feel happy in the workplace are 65% more energetic than employees who don't. They are 12% more productive and are more likely to sustain their jobs over a long period of time. Companies who have happy employees outperform their competition by 20%. Engaged teams generate 21% more profit than disengaged ones. And employees who are happy at work take 10 times fewer sick days than unhappy workers. And that's significant. And I mean, let's be fair. When you are feeling good and happy, you are energetic. You want to show up at work and bounce off the walls. I mean, when you are in like a happiness slump, you barely want to do anything, right? So, I mean, yes, these statistics are statistics, but you know in your life how you feel when you are in a good mood. You come in this office and you're like, oh, wow, I could build 100 hours this week, right? As opposed to when you're in a somber mood, you're probably like just skirting through. So, how are we going to fix our happiness situation? Number one, we're going to take personal responsibility, which we just did by assessing our happiness scores, the numbers. Everybody didn't tell me their number, but that's your personal knowledge, right? And so what I'm going to equip you with tonight is certain things that scientifically are proven to help you on this happiness journey. So you've taken personal responsibility. Listen, we've already said it. The top regret of the dying is they wish they had the courage. So as I mentioned, you can't fix what you don't confront. If you woke up this morning and you were crying and you are unhappy at your job or you're unhappy in your life, the only person who can change that is you. You have to look yourself in the mirror every day and say, you deserve to live a happier, better life. Like there is no limit to what you can have or think and do. You're capable. You're lawyers. You passed the bar. So now is really to just put the action behind the words and the intention to transform your life, right? So number one, morning routine. As of this day, when you wake up in the morning, I am going to ask you to give yourself 5 minutes of stillness. Do not pick up your phone. How many of you wake up and immediately pick up your phone? How many? No more. No more. No more.
I don't know what time it is.
No. If you sit up 5 o'clock, put your phone back down. No scrolling through Instagram. No scrolling through Twitter, TikTok, whatever. You win your day how you begin your day, right? And so the problem is when you wake up in the morning and you immediately pick up your phone, you are allowing outside energy to impact you, right? You have to play offense in your day, not defense. You have to play offense. So you pick up your phone, you may have awakened in a good mood. All of a sudden you get this email, oh, your mood sinks. Intense, like, oh God. Or you look on Instagram and you're like, Mary's over there whale watching in Australia and I have to go to work, right? So instead of doing that, I want you to I'll suggest a couple of things that I know work, but you will have to decide what you want to do. The number one predictor of happiness, gratitude. It's easy. If you start a gratitude practice right now, it can improve your happiness levels by 25%. 3 new things every morning. Be conscious of it. Not just, oh, I'm grateful to wake up. Every day I'm grateful to wake up. Yes, you are. But really think about it. Yeah, right? So 3 new things. 3 new intentional things. And the thing about the 3 new things is that you start having to get very creative, right? Oh, I'm stuck on the Brickell Bridge, blah, 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 yesterday, but I'm grateful I had a car. I could have been walking. I'm grateful I have money in my bank account to pay my car note. So you have to start digging deep after a while to find those 3 new things. As human beings, we have on average 60,000 thoughts on average per day, right? 80% of those thoughts are negative, 95% are repetitive. So we already are predisposed how we evolved through evolution because at the end of the day, we had to be on high alert. We didn't want the bear to eat us. We had to always look out for the negative thing, right? So if you are thinking negative things all the time, then The gratitude practice, if you start focusing on the things that are going well in your life, you start counteracting that negative loop pattern. Instead of waking up, oh God, I hate my job. Oh, I have a job to go to. Oh, I can read. I'm grateful for Wi-Fi. You have to really dig deep and get in there, right? Top 3 priorities of the day. So many of us are busy being busy. Never in history have we been as connected as we are right now. We have so many things just coming at us. In the morning, focus. What are the top 3 priorities that you need to do today? Because the world will pull you in different directions. And every day your priority may not be, oh, I have to bill, or oh, I have to work, or knock out this appellate brief. It could be, I'm going to be present with my sons. My priority is to sit here and be present with my 2 sons, play games with them, and not pick up my phone. Top 3 priorities, and really focus on that. Because each time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else in your life. So get very clear on the 3 things that you're going to prioritize on that day. Another thing is exercise. Exercise, it increases your feel-good hormones. Dose your dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and your endorphins. 12 minutes of movement is enough to increase your happy hormones. I'm not saying you have to go and run Brickell Key. You don't have to do a marathon anymore. You don't even have to go to CrossFit. 12 minutes of movement. Make a happy playlist with some of your favorite songs. Dance. Listen to music while you're getting ready. Get your endorphins and your energy up, right? Put songs on that playlist that remind you of happy times in your life. Your graduation, the first dance at your wedding, the song that you danced at prom, your favorite song from summer 2022, whatever it is. You have to set yourself up for success. And which is why I'm saying your happiness is a choice. Each moment that you are alive, you are actively leaning in to what you are doing. And so we have to stop living so aimlessly. Am I better for doing this thing, or am I worse? Right? So really lend your energy and be very intentional about how you're spending your time. Healthy boundaries. That's another one, right? That's another topic. How many of you are waking up in the morning and watching the news? I hope nobody. Oh, Lord. Okay. All right. So I believe that you should stay informed. Absolutely. The research shows us that if you wake up in the morning and you watch 3 minutes of news, right? That is enough to pollute your day. So you don't wake up, you don't watch the news, you would have a 27% worse day than him who didn't watch the news. Wait. Nobody's saying not to watch the news. It's a time of day you're going to watch it. And so I've come up with the doom and gloom hour. You're going to choose a time of day where you know it's your doom and gloom hour. You're going to tap into the world. You're going to see what's going on. But right after you have that exposure to that negativity, you're going to do a happiness enhancing activity, whether it's going for a walk for 12 minutes, listening to music, talking to your mom who makes you feel happy, or your boyfriend, girlfriend, watching funny videos on TV, whatever it is, limit that exposure. Social media. Oh, Lord, social media. Social comparison is killing us. It's killing us. Who mentioned it? Oh, you're right here looking on who is billing this, or y'all. You are comparing the 24 hours of the day that you spend with yourself to people's highlight reel. People are face tuning and they are photoshopping, and you are comparing your life to other people who you don't know what they are going through. And so comparison is the thief of joy. Learn to live and love your life and be completely grateful for your portion. And so social media has its benefits, there's no doubt, because it inspires me. I get great ideas. But if you find that you are logging on online and there are certain things that are stealing your energy or making you feel jealous or making you feel like you're behind, unfollow those accounts or mute them. But you don't have to expose yourself to that energy, right? So social media is one of those things where it does have its benefits, but it also has the cons. So be very, very mindful how you're exposing yourself to this energy. And I mentioned this earlier, no is a complete sentence. You have to set some healthy boundaries around your time. And so a lot of us are just not advocating for ourselves. We keep saying yes, 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 yes to things. If you are feeling oversubscribed, I haven't used the word oversubscribed as much as I have in these last 2 weeks. I've been getting so many requests. I'm oversubscribed. Thanks for the offer. I'm oversubscribed. Because if you drop down dead tomorrow, there'll be somebody to do what you need to do. They will send your family some orchids and say, Joe was great. And they will have your job posting on the board by maybe by Monday. Yeah. So you have to set healthy boundaries, and people respect people with boundaries. You know, we think, especially as a young attorney, it's easy to be like, oh my God, I have to just make everybody be so proud of me. I'm going to work myself to the bone. No, you have to set some healthy boundaries in a respectful way, right? But it doesn't make sense for you to be doing things to your detriment of your health, your mental well-being, being depressed, wanting to die by suicide, drinking so much, taking drugs. What's the point? So learn to say no and learn to say a hard no. Keep learning, keep growing. One of the biggest reasons why people are unhappy, it's not that they're unhappy, they're bored with their lives. You are living the same exact life over and over and over again. You graduated from law school, you got the job at the bankruptcy firm, and you haven't learned anything new since then. What did you love to do when you were 8 years old? That's one of the people love that day in my book. Would 8-year-old you be proud of who you are today? Did she love to skate? Did she paint? Have you tapped back into that childlike joy? And when I say keep learning, keep growing, it doesn't mean, oh, go and start and have a master's degree. It could be a TikTok dance. Learn something new. It could be signing up for golf lessons. But start living outside of this box that you've created. Because the thing is, we become attorneys and then all of a sudden we just think, all right, well, this is my zone of genius. And I'm little Miss Immigration Lawyer, and I'm little Miss Family Lawyer, and I don't need to learn anything else. I watch the same news channel every day. I go to the same Publix on Brickell. I go to the same Sweat 440. Do different things in your life. Variety is the spice of life. So the monotony is what is making so many people feel unhappy because you are bored. And so I am going to challenge you, all of you, and you're going to have accountability partners in this. You're all going to come up with your fantastic 25. That's 25 new things that you are going to do this year. 25 new. Let's for this one. Y'all are going to do 25 new things this year. And when I say 25 new things, I am not saying, oh, we have to go skydiving. No, it could easily be.
recommend that though. It's a
I'm not skydiving. I was amazing.
I would recommend.
It could easily be, oh, for my children's spring break, we always go to Key West. This year, we're going to go to Naples. I always go to Dade County Library. I'm going to just take an Uber on over to Coconut Grove. Just that. I always shop at Publix on 37th and Douglas. Oh, I'm going to go to Publix in Kendall. Maybe they have something new. I only socialize in Brickell. Maybe I head over to Doral. Have y'all been to Doral? I live in Miami. I've been to Doral one time in 20 years. That is absolutely crazy. And I've seen amazing bars on Instagram in Doral. But I will take myself from here and fly all the way to Zimbabwe, but I still haven't gone to see the Grand Canyon. It doesn't make sense. You see what I'm saying? And that's something that's on my bucket list, to see the Grand Canyon. I still haven't. That's crazy. So I am saying you're going to shake up your life. So 25 new things. When does this program end for them?
They still have until like June.
Okay, yeah. So even better, you're going to find an accountability partner, somebody who is not somebody you always talk to when you come to meetings, and you're going to exchange your list, and you will keep abreast of what they're doing. Hey, have you ever been to PAM, to the PAM Presents during Art Basel? Haven't done that? Maybe you add that to your list. Have you ever been to PAM? Have you? So these are the things I'm saying. So this is what we're going to do. PAM is correct art. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to do our fantastic 25. Each of you, you'll come up with 25 new things. You'll choose an accountability partner and really exchange your ideas. This is a way to build community. Get outside of the law legal field, meet new people, shake up your life. There are so many people in Miami that you can learn from. Go to a Haitian restaurant, a Peruvian restaurant, do different things, right? You could get even more business. You never know. So this one, you're going to be your own biggest cheerleader. And Emma, I'm so happy that you mentioned that. When you're a new attorney, and not even new, sometimes as an attorney, life will make you think you're not that smart, or the people that you work with will make you think that you're not that smart. And I had a situation like that last year. I had a boss, new boss, I still practice law, and he would criticize my writing so much. I said, well, can I write? You know, like, because he was so critical. And so I'm saying this to say that I'm going to start with your highlight reel. You are going to type up all your wins in your life, and you're going to keep that on your phone or on your laptop, somewhere easy for you to see. So the minute you ever feel that you are not good enough, you're not capable enough, you will revisit. It's like your resume on your phone, but it's not your resume. It's just all the things that you've done, because most of us are not remembering the things we've done. You found a case law for a case that nobody else found. That's on your highlight reel. Remind yourself of your greatness. You help somebody solve the problem. And listen, you have to learn to toot your own horn, because nobody's going to toot it for you. A lot of us are thinking, oh, well, I don't want to seem too braggadocious. I don't want to seem like I'm not humble. McDonald's, the whole world knows McDonald's. They keep advertising every single day. Has McDonald's stopped advertising? Okay, all right. They have not. McDonald's does not take a day off of advertising. So how will people know if you're good at what you do if you never say it? So affirmations, you're going to come up with an affirmation bank. You're going to record yourself with your voice on your phone. And you are going to, I am amazing. I am a winner. I don't care what you want to say, things to motivate you. You need to recognize your voice cheerleading yourself. This worked for me. I ran this half marathon, and I don't know what I was thinking, but by mile 11, I said, Lord, what am I doing out here? And I just turned on my voice recorder. I'm a winner. I'm an athlete. And so I motivated myself. You have to learn to motivate yourself, because, as he said, sometimes you have thankless work. People are not always going to affirm you, but you have to learn to affirm yourself. So you're going to make your affirmation bank. You're going to write it down, and you're also going to say it in your voice recorder on your phone for the days when you're feeling like, oh, wow. Another thing I'm going to ask you to do is start advocating for others. Some of us, no matter how much I tell you, oh, write your affirmations, you just don't want to talk about yourself, right? When you are in a work setting, introduce people by their wins. This is Jessica. She's the one who settled the $100 million case against Texaco last year. Advocate for other people. Happiness shared is happiness multiplied. Hey, this is John. He was responsible for writing case law on blah, blah, blah. Hey, this is Amy. She just settled. Like, whatever it is, start introducing your peers by their wins. Because so most people are not talking about what they're doing. And so a lot of times we will sit back and we'll see our peers being criticized, or people being critical, and we're being silent. You're being complicit. You're being complicit. How easy would it be if you run into the hall and you're like, oh, wow, Julia, hey, Bob, did you hear that Julia just finished blah, blah, blah last week? He probably didn't know that. He has so many things going on. And so in that moment, you have given her an alley-oop, and she will pay it forward. So a lot of times, as we're saying, oh, it's so adversarial and that people aren't, we are going to bat, you sometimes have to set the tone. You shift the atmosphere. Stop outsourcing the things that you would want for yourself. Start doing that for other people. I think about young attorneys when I was a young attorney. what I would have wanted, and I do that for young attorneys now. I don't wait. I'm not one of the people, oh, well, because I had to go through it, you have to go through it too. No, because I went through it, I want to make your life easier. Yeah. And so if we all were to have that mindset, imagine how much we would be able to change our legal environment. If each of us decided that we were going to be for our peers what we needed in that moment, to be kinder, to respond to an email with more compassion and empathy, to actually say good morning to people, ask how you're doing. Oh, and listen, these are little things, but it's almost like we're forgotten manners. How are you? How was your weekend? Remember one or two things or details about people in your field. A judge. Hey, judge, I remember you on vacation 2 weeks ago. I have judges who I worked with in family court. To this day, I could call and ask them for anything. Anything. Because I would just randomly remember details about them. Hey, George, I remember you said you were going skiing. How did that go? Oh, she remembered. And that's why my boss actually advocated for me. I would always ask her about her daughter. She's an only child just like me. And I would always ask her about her. Say, hey, did she figure it out? What school did she do? It didn't take me 10 seconds to ask that lady that. Which university did she decide on? So the human factor, before you are an attorney, you are a human being. So don't forget that. And the world that we're living in now is that everybody's getting so self-centered, so self-absorbed that we're just forgetting the little basic things. All right, this part, everybody's going to participate. Get your pen. We're going to do a scripting exercise. Scripting is the art of writing your life into being, right? We are going to write in the present. I am, I have, I feel. And so we are at the beginning of a year. It's the beginning, January 21st. We have this whole year ahead of us. I want you to write okay, and I'm going to read you the question. If I knew I was unstoppable, destined for monumental success, how would I dream differently? What audacious goals would I pursue with unstoppable passion? And so when you're doing this exercise, right, I want you to think, like, let me give maybe some ideas or some instructions. How much money would you want to make this year? How many clients would you want to impact? How much time would you want to spend with your family? How many books would you want to read? I want you to dream big and think expansive. And I want you to supersize everything that you write on that paper. Do not write anything that makes you believe that it's impossible. Write something that you think is possible. So yes, we could all be a Supreme Court judge by the end of this year, but that's highly likely because there's no openings on the Supreme Court this year, right? But it's possible that you could be a Supreme Court judge one day. So I want you to write something that's probable and possible. So stretch your imagination, write it down. You're going to keep that next to your bed, and you are going to wake up and you're going to read it to yourself, and you're going to get excited about your lives because many of us have stopped dreaming. Or if we are dreaming, we're dreaming way too small. So if you wanted 50,000 in savings, perhaps you put 150,000 in savings. You'll be surprised what your mind will expand to in order to match what's on that paper. So let's go. I want you to do 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Really get creative. Want to make partner this year. You want to settle a $5 million case. You want to co-chair a case with the senior partner at the firm. You want to be recognized by the Florida Bar 40 under 40. Think about it, right? You don't have to write it in paragraphs, write it in bullet points, but just get something on that paper. Stephanie, you need to do it too.
Apparently someone's trying to hack into my Instagram.
Oh. You dream car, you dream vacation. You've never taken 3 weeks off work, but this is the year you're going to do it. Self-care. You're gonna go on your bucket list trip. You're gonna pay for your mom's house. I don't know, just whatever it is. Stretch that imagination. If you knew you were unstoppable, that's the word, unstoppable. Monumental success, not baby success. Audacious goals, not no baby goals. Big, audacious goals. Big goals, like big. Like outside the box. Dream condo on Brickell Avenue, Brickell Key, I don't know, whatever it is, you put it there. Open your own firm, have 20 clients a month. Receive a pro bono award for all the hours that you're doing. Run your first marathon, first triathlon. Beat your score. Get assigned the biggest case in the firm. Pay off your credit card debt. Win the lottery. That's possible. I mean, you have to buy the ticket. That's why I want you to get creative with this, like dream, get excited about your life. What's possible? Remember when you're about to graduate from law school, how excited you felt when you were inviting all your friends and families, like, hey, everybody, this is it. I want you to tap back into that feeling of possibility, vibrate on that wavelength of possibility again. You don't like the firm that you're at now. Maybe you get recruited by a firm. You don't even have to send your resume. That's possible. Maybe somebody buys your firm for millions of dollars. That's possible too. We're gonna do one more minute. You're gonna have the courage to tell whoever that you're not staying at work past 7 on a Friday anymore. You're going to happier, damn it. All right, 30 seconds. I like the smile on your face.
Oh, I'm still contemplating. It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder than anticipated.
This is why I want to force you to do this, because when you get it on paper, sometimes we're just we live in the moment so much that you don't even give yourself the room to just dream again. And you have to. Yeah. You just get excited about the possibilities. All right, so everybody's gonna stand. Everybody's gonna stand. And okay, because I am not somebody to get people excited without executing. Because then you'd have wasted my time and yours this whole hour of us just coming and nothing changes if nothing changes. So you're gonna get a partner. You could like spread out around the place. You're gonna get a partner. And the question I'm gonna ask you right now is, will you start, right? And on December 31st, 2025, what will you be celebrating and toasting to? Because now you wrote it, right? These are your peers. And so whoever you partner with, you are going to now tell them, like, let's role play. Come, let me show you. Wow. Would you believe? I was on the Today Show this year. And because of that appearance on the Today Show, I got a 7-figure book deal. And this book is about to be an NYT bestseller. I am America's happiness expert. So that's what I'm toasting to. Y'all, that's what I'm toasting to this year. I'm telling y'all that, right? So your turn. Well, you don't have to do it with me. I want you to do it with one of your friends and peers. So you get the idea of this. I am going to be on today's show. Like, I am just telling y'all that. Like, so I'm not just saying that for the shits and giggles. Like that's on my list that I wrote down. So you're going to say something that you truly believe can happen for you by December 31st. Speak it. Our words have power. We wrote the vision, we made it plain, but now you're going to put words behind this. And so who better to share this with than people who are equally yoked as you? People who are as ambitious. You all took the time to apply for this program, to show up here on a Thursday night, which most people are at home watching Netflix right now, but you are here becoming better. So choose a partner, and we're going to do 3 minutes. You're going to speak life into each other. You're going to share your goals and dreams, and you'll be surprised. You don't even know who is in this room who could put you one step closer to that dream. Because most of us aren't telling people who can help us what our dreams are. So you don't know if I am the conduit to your next big case, right? Until you told me. So you're going to share that with each other, and we're going to get excited about supporting each other, cheerleading each other, and holding each other accountable. So let's start. 3 minutes. Pair up, pair up, pair up. The first couple minutes. So okay. So you talk to one person first. Choose someone. Wait, hold on. Let's say something. No, wait. I want you to choose somebody who you typically do not talk to when you're here. Don't go to the same friends. Okay. Okay. All right. So you two.
My friend left.
And by December 31st, 2025, what will you be toasting to? Like you're seeing them at a party and you're toasting them like, hey, Bob, this happened. That's what we're talking about. All right. December 31st, I want to let me hear it.
On my own. I left my friend on stage and I was remote working. I wanted to handle it. So I actually started in the shelter. So Steve. But different thing. Looks like I just. So. Which obviously is not. Yeah.
In my family.
Do we?
It's private practice that he's been for 4 years. He's been doing more than. Yeah. So he had the courage to step away from his dad's firm, which is hard. Oh my God. To like go to go disappoint a parent or disappoint. But he chose himself. So we applaud. And the thing with doing hard things is that when you do a hard thing and you realize that you didn't die and that you are actually more capable sometimes than you give yourself credit for, which is something he should put on his highlight reel, is that so that in the future, in 3 years, if he has to do another hard thing, he will say, well, I did a hard thing in 2025. You build the muscles. And so happiness is that. You just have to keep building those muscles, emotional resiliency, and just keep taking a bet on yourself. So what are some of the other thoughts, like the words that you felt like speaking about your dreams? How did it make you feel?
Rejuvenated.
Rejuvenated.
It made me feel like I was actually going to do it. Like once I said it to someone else, I felt like, oh, now I have to do it because I have to tell him later.
Anybody else? Confident? Yeah. Anybody else?
Comfortable.
Yes, that possibility. Vibrating on the wavelength of possibility is just so freeing. And so I like that you said about telling somebody, and you have to be careful who you share your dreams with. Yeah, you just have to be. That's one of the things. That is a huge happiness stealer.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. So your circle of influence, you have to be so mindful. We are the sum of the 5 people that we spend our time with. And if you spend your time with 5 negative Nancy's or 4, you become the 5th.
Yeah.
4 broke people, you will be broke. So I suggest that all of you got in your cell phone, not right now, and you look on your call log, on your WhatsApp list, on your text, and the people that you're talking to, are they bringing your energy up or are they taking it down? Because trust me, it makes all the difference in the world. And so you have to be so mindful and protective of the atmosphere, especially nowadays where people are just so caught up in negativity. It's almost like you forget, yes, there are fires in LA, and oh my God, we have compassion and empathy. But there were babies born today. Yeah, there are babies born today, and people are still falling in love. And people got married this weekend. Yeah, there's somebody who they told only have 3 months to live, and they're now cancer free and have lived 5 years. So those good things keep happening. And so we just really have to shift our focus. And that starts, one, you can't be the negative Nancy. If you are the negative person, stop, please. You have to be mindful of the energy that you are bringing to spaces and to rooms. So just choose today that happiness is your choice and that you are going to enhance and edify every environment that you enter. We're going to do one last affirmation because I love affirmations and I want us to just keep this energy going. You could take a picture of it, but I want us to all stand one more time. And we're going to say this with a lot of gusto. I know I'm the only one standing between you and your Thursday night dinner drinks or whatever. So I will stop. Oh, I forgot the word. I forgot. Oh my God, I forgot. Happiness is a choice. Nobody else got that. I'm like a super yeah. So anyway, I will say 20, so I want to say it and you repeat after me. But you have to say it with energy, excellence, winning. All right? Ready? 2025 is my year.
Is my year.
I am unstoppable.
I am unstoppable.
I am taking my health to the next level.
To the next level.
I'm taking my finances to the next level.
To the next level.
I'm taking my career to the next level.
I'm taking my career to the next level.
I'm taking my relationships to the next level. I'm taking my happiness to the next level.
I'm taking my happiness to the next level.
I am taking my life to the next level.
I'm taking my life.
Are we going to high five on that? Are we going to do it? 2025. Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it. I love to be alternatives. Sometimes I navigate the dreams or the goals, and you're like, no, I prayed for this. Why did I pray for this? So you're living in dreams fulfilled. And so yeah, you deserve to have lives that you enjoy and a career that you love. Because if you're going to spend 90,000 hours of your life working, it may as well be worth your while. And so my mission and my purpose in life that for every person that I come in contact with, I want them to be on their deathbed and be like, I chose this life. I chose it. Like I literally chose this life because you have agency. And so you could design the life that you want and you could pivot through the whole alphabet. You could be at B, you could go all the way down to C, but it's your choice. All right? So I'll leave you with that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm an open book.